Hi guys, my name is Jasmine, but you can call me Misa because I love my middle name. And as you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be talking about why I'm moving out at 18. And I just want to start this off by saying this video is not made with any malicious intent towards my family or to shame my family or to bash my family. I just wanted my first video to be real and raw and give my honest truth as to why I'm moving. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is my stuffed animal. I named her Ellie. She's gonna be my emotional support for this video. I also took some notes, so that's why I'm gonna be looking down, because I just want to make sure I don't go about this video rambling away. So growing up, I had a dysfunctional and toxic family, and I can get into that a whole nother time. I'm just trying to basically show the reasoning as to why I'm moving out. And pretty much from a young age, I've struggled in school so much. And one of the main things that I feel like altered me and my parents' relationship is the fact that ever since middle school, I've never wanted to go to college. And I feel like I can be successful without it. And I've honestly always wanted to create content. And that's why I'm here making this video right now. That was always something my parents didn't like about me, I think. And one of the things that made our relationship not so good, I always caught my parents talking behind my back to other family members and just other people about me not wanting to graduate and thinking that there was something wrong with me. That's one of the main things that kind of hurt me growing up, and kind of something that makes me feel burdensome, is that a word? I'm sorry. That makes me feel like a burden to my family, and I've always just felt like the black sheep. I've always felt so left out when it came to my family. Middle children can relate to me, but I'm a middle child, and I'm basically the Cinderella I'm basically the Cinderella daughter of the family. Like I cook, I clean. I used to get my siblings up for school. I used to pick out their outfits. I used to do their hair ever since probably the 3rd grade. My parents are divorced, so we were living with my dad, and honestly, he was a very present but absent father, and he wasn't there for us mentally, emotionally, physically, really. That kind of plays along with what I'm gonna say. So me being the Cinderella daughter, basically the start of my junior year, I got a job at my mom's job. It's a flower shop. I didn't like it, but I had to make money somehow. My mom basically made me get a job. And at this point, I fell out of love for all the sports I was doing. I was very depressed, and I'd come home, and anytime I said I was tired, my mom would just bash me for that and be like, oh, why are you sleepy? And it got to the point where I would focus so much on other parts of the house, like getting them clean, cooking dinner, and all of that, to where my room started looking so messy, and I would get bashed for being dirty or unclean and just having my room all cluttered because I was so focused on getting everything else cleaned in the house. I had work, I had school, and around this time, my mom actually kicked me out. That day she kicked me out, I cleaned the whole house. I came home from school, I cleaned the whole house, and it was probably 11 o'clock at night, and I had a pile of clothes on the ground. And my mom was like, you need to clean up. And I told her I've been cleaning the rest of the house pretty much all day, and it was just my clothes. I'm getting ready for bed. I have school the next day. And she's like, no, you need to clean this right now. And that's when I'm telling her, like, please, can you just let me, I have school, like I'm tired. And basically she just started going crazy. She started throwing my things. She broke a couple of my things. She tried to take my phone. And okay, pause, because I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, oh, that's weird, you didn't let her take her phone. I didn't let my mom take my phone because my dad pays for my phone, and I pay my own phone bill because I was working. So I felt like my mom had no right to take my phone. and confirmed with my dad, he did not agree with her taking my phone either. I didn't let her take my phone, and then that's when she kept trying to snatch it. And mind you, I was on the phone with my boyfriend, like basically trying to tell him what was going on, and like he could hear everything that was going on. And every time I tell somebody about that day, they always say I wasn't in the wrong. I'm a type of person where if I'm in the wrong, I want to be told I'm in the wrong. Anybody around me that's adult and matured, like if I was the wrong in the situation, because if I'm wrong, I want you to tell me I'm wrong. And everybody told me like I wasn't tripping, like I wasn't delusional, like I really did not deserve that. So after all that went down, that was in like October, I had went to my dad's house, and around this time, I'm graduating in December. I was graduating early my senior year. And one of the promises I kept to my parents, and my parents said that I had to keep, was to graduate. If I wasn't going to college, you gotta graduate. You gotta graduate. That's all you gotta do. December comes around, I graduate early. I don't walk until May. So this is pretty much everything leading up to then. I'm living with my dad, and I'm still working with my mom. So when I was away from my mom, our relationship got better. I was working with her. We would eat lunch together at work. Sometimes we'd get each other lunch. Everything was looking great. Living with my dad already, me and my dad don't have the best relationship. I'm not super close with my dad at all. And growing up, I was never close with my dad because he was so absent in my childhood. Let me explain like my dad and my relationship so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I had to do my siblings' hair, pick out their clothes since like 3rd grade. And I would cook dinner, I'd clean the house, I did all that. Basically the same thing I was doing at my mom's house, I was doing at my dad's. My dad does not believe in like cleaning. He doesn't believe in doing his own dishes. He didn't believe in cooking. After we got into high school, he's like, okay, you're an adult. I'm not cooking anything. I'm not cleaning anything. Well, he's never really cleaned anything growing up. He's never done his own dishes or anything like that. He doesn't believe in doing that because he pays the bills. I was basically doing everything at my dad's house. I actually tried to talk to him about this. I was like, I really don't understand why I'm doing your dishes. And this is because, mind you, I was working. I would come home, me and my sister would get something out to eat almost every single day after we came home from work because we specifically didn't want to cook. Anytime we cooked something or we got something, my dad would be like, oh, we have to get him something. And I'm like, well, I'm not the parent. But he was always asking us what's for dinner, and he would make us go get dinner or go make dinner. And at this point when we were working, we didn't feel like making dinner. So we would go out to eat. And while we were working, the dishes would just pile and pile and pile and pile in the sink. And we're like, where are these dishes coming from? Because it's not us. Out the ass. Like, we were literally like, where are these dishes coming from? And it was my dad's dishes. So at a certain point, obviously, me being the person that has to clean these dishes up all the time, I'm going to my dad and I'm like, okay, well, this is a little excessive. Like, I understand you wanting us to clean up. I get that 100%. But your dishes are quite literally piling in the sink. And we have to do them after work. I couldn't wrap my head around that. And me doing that as a child constantly, at some point I'm gonna stick up for myself and finally say what was in my chest. And so I told him, I'm just like, I don't understand why we're always doing your dishes. And it's not like my dad occasionally did his dishes. No, he never did his dishes. He believed that if he paid rent, he never had to wash a dish. My 18th birthday comes around. Less than a month after my birthday, my dad goes, okay, so you guys are gonna have to pay rent now. I don't know if that was correct, but basically he was making me and my sister pay $600+ each. And this is also after I had the dishes conversation with him and the conversation that I told him I wanted to move out. I've told my parents ever since I was in middle school that I wanted to move out at 18. Because growing up in a household like that, you want to get out. Let's be honest, you want to get out. I've always told them that when I'm 18, I'm going to try to move out. And leading up to this conversation about the dishes, I told him I was looking to start saving to get an apartment. And then he threw this, oh, you're going to have to pay rent. So I'm like, so me and my sister kind of just like, what? And this is while we're at work. So I text in the group chat and I'm just like, I told you I wanted to save for an apartment. How I'm going to save, mind you, my checks were like $600 to $700, and I get paid every 2 weeks. I wasn't making a lot to be able to save for an apartment, pay my phone bill, and pay this random house bill that he threw on top of us. Okay, so as I'm editing this video, I forgot to say another reason why our paychecks were so small. And so me and my sister both worked 40 hours a week. We were full-time, and my dad didn't want to let us use his car to and from work, and he didn't want to take us anywhere. So that was one of the reasons why our paychecks were also like little amount to nothing, because we were Ubering to and from work every single day, and it's literally in another town. Like, coming back, you literally have to pay a toll, and it was sometimes a $20-$30 Uber there, just there, then back as well. So it's like $40, $50, $60 a day sometimes, and me and my sister would split it. But if you're working full-time, it takes away your paycheck. So that, on top of the rent he was trying to make us pay, there was no way that I would be able to save for an apartment, let alone, it was hard sometimes to even buy groceries. Mind you, I haven't even walked the stage to graduate yet. So me hearing this as an 18-year-old, freshly 18-year-old, it really hurt my feelings, because all the promises that my parents have made to me, they have never kept. That's just another reason that led up to me moving out. So this day I texted him and I was just like, I don't understand why, you're making us pay rent. I told you I wanted to save. I can't even save. My checks aren't even that much. And he basically told me, you're not going to be able to get an apartment. You're not going to be able to get anywhere without going to school. You're not going to be able to get a good job without college. He basically was telling me I'm a failure. After I came home from work, we had a talk, and he was like, okay. I came home, he made me and my sister sit at the counter, because he has like this bar counter, and he was like, okay, talk, what's your plan? And this is like, I'm using his exact tone, and I'm just looking at my sister like, the fuck? And I was like, I want to keep working at this job so I can save to get an apartment. And he's like, basically interrogating us. Then he starts raising his voice, and at this point he's yelling, what are you guys doing? What is your plan? What is this? What is that? I don't like how you guys do this. I don't like that. I've sacrificed everything for you guys. And at this point I get up from where I was sitting, and my dad slams his hand on the counter so loud and says, sit your ass back down. And at this point, I keep walking. So I'm walking. He tells me to come back. He's like yelling at me at this point like a dog or something. And he's banging on shit. And he's like, come back. I'm not done talking. You're not explaining. And I told him, I wanted to have a conversation with you. And you yelling is not going to get anywhere. And if you're yelling at me, then I'm not going to talk. Because I'm not talking to a brick wall. I've learned throughout my whole childhood, talking to someone that's yelling at you, or just being so toxic and narcissistic, it's not gonna get you anywhere. So I'm walking to my room, and he's like, as I'm walking to my room, and he keeps saying, come back, he's banging on stuff. I'm like, I just keep walking, and he's like, you know what? You can get your dog and get the fuck out, and don't come back. So I go to my room, I lock the door, I call my boyfriend, and I think my sister called my mom. And we just tell them what's going on. At this point, me and my mom had a better relationship. So then I'm on the phone with my boyfriend. I'm crying. I'm like explaining to him like everything. And he just rushes, like he gets up and he comes get me. And I just start packing my stuff. He also, while I had the door locked, he also came by the door while I was packing my stuff. And I was on the phone with my boyfriend, and he jiggled it. And he said, open this door. And I said, no. And he said, open this door or you're leaving. And I said, I already called my mom, I'm leaving, like I'm already leaving. And he's like, don't come back. Like he's just yelling for me not to come back. And I leave. I pack my stuff and I leave. And the next day we get my sister with my mom. But yeah, the first day I got my dog, I got my stuff, and I just left. This is a month after my birthday, mind you. Then I graduate in May. Mind you, I didn't talk to him after that situation at all until graduation. And I didn't even want him to come to my graduation, but my auntie just kept telling me to invite him. So I invited him. Shit, the ticket wasn't used for anybody else. And my graduation, I was so depressed during my graduation. A lot of my family were not able to make it, and going to other people's graduation parties and seeing their family, I literally didn't have, my sister had like almost my whole family at her graduation, and I had just my aunt. Like my mom, my siblings, obviously my dad came, and then my aunt. So like graduation, it was really such a depressing time for me. Like I was so hurt. I wasn't proud of myself. And I just felt like no matter what I did for my parents, I didn't get any approval from them. Like I didn't feel accomplished graduating. And honestly, the only person that made me feel accomplished for anything was my boyfriend. And I could go on and on and on about Justin. Like everyone knows that, because he's just such a wonderful soul. And I truly think that without Justin, there's so many things that I wouldn't have overcome without him. He's amazing, and God is amazing. That became a cycle, honestly, the going back and forth. And then basically now I live with my mom, and she basically started doing the same thing. I have to clean the whole house, I have to cook, and she treats me so differently from my siblings, and that hurts sometimes, but I kind of just got used to it and just kind of got used to doing stuff on my own. We also do pay my mom rent. It's not as much as my dad, but we do pay her like $350. A lot of times my mom threatens to kick me out now, and that's when I started making videos on TikTok. And then my TikTok shop started kind of doing well, and so I decided to just randomly apply for this apartment, and then I got approved. I was so happy. That's basically why I'm moving to sum it all up. I just been praying and praying and praying and praying. I'm not moving because I hate my parents or I don't like my parents, because I know that deep down the only time me and my parents got along with each other is when I was separately away from them. Because I want a relationship so bad with my parents, I know deep down that I have to distance myself from them to gain a relationship with them. It bothers me a lot leaving my siblings here, and even just leaving my parents bothers me a lot. Like just thinking about him like eating alone at the table, like that gets me. My dad lives in a big house. It has like 6 bedrooms, so just imagine a 6-bedroom house with just yourself. As for my mom, I just know both of my parents have unhealed trauma, and they also have, and my mom's trauma coming from my dad, and then my dad, he just has a lot of issues that he cannot address. That's why they take so much anger out on me. And I know I don't deserve that, but at the end of the day, I know where it's coming from. That kind of made me realize, like, oh, why they're treating me like this is because of XYZ. It has nothing to do with me. And for the longest time, I thought it was me. Like, there's so many times throughout my life in my childhood where I was like, I'm the problem. Like what's wrong with me? Like there's so many times where I would just sit in my room in the dark alone at night and cry and cry and cry, because I would just beg and ask God, like, what's wrong with me? Like, what can I do to make them more proud of me? What can I do to make them like me more? What can I do to make them treat me like they treat my siblings? What is wrong with me? Like, what's so bad about me that everybody doesn't like? I think God wanted me to realize that I have likable traits, because for the longest time I didn't think I was likable or had likable traits. Like, I literally thought that everything was wrong with me, that I didn't deserve happiness, that I didn't deserve love. Every flaw that I have, Justin is like, I love that. That's amazing. I love you. It just made me realize, like, there is nothing wrong with me. And it's just people projecting their emotions and their trauma, every unhealed part of them, onto you. And that's why people treat you the way they do. It's not you. And for the longest time, I thought it was me. And I just know that if I want a relationship with my parents, I'm going to have to leave. I don't know what's coming next for me. Shit, I don't even have furniture. Like, I'm moving straight off the rip. No furniture, no nothing. I'm just leaving. Honestly, I'm very scared. I don't have a car or anything, but I'm just trying to have some faith, and by the will of God, a way to just, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video, not to shame or bash my family or my parents. I just wanted to make it to speak my truth and honesty to why I'm moving. Basically just show that I have a lot of love for my parents. I really truly love my parents and choose peace over everything, because at the end of the day, I know that they're holding me back from a lot. I know that we can grow so much apart. That is why I'm leaving, and I'm just gonna end off this video because I really don't know what else to say. But I just wanted to make this my first video because it's like raw, it's real, it's how I think, it's how I feel, what the next chapter of my life is gonna look like. And yeah, if you guys want to help me buy furniture, I'm not gonna like hold you under gunpoint, but I will put my Cash App in this video if you guys want to help me out. I'm not like a rich gal. I struggle too sometimes, and I have inner battles just like everybody else. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry that this is kind of like a sad video. A lot more happier things are coming. I'm also getting a new puppy. His name is Apollo, and he's a Bernese Mountain Dog. So I will have videos of that, and hopefully I'll try to make a video the day I move so you guys can get a little move-in day and a little tour of my apartment. There's gonna be a lot more to come, a lot more good things. This is just the beginning to so much more, and I'm so excited, and I'm gonna try to film more. I'm literally filming off my iPhone. I don't have a camera, but we're gonna get there one day. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, God, for giving me the strength to get through this video, and I will see you guys next time. First YouTube video that I will be filming. Ellie, come here. I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at myself. There's a fucking Gannett in here, y'all, and I don't know where it went.